Хвост БКБ, кулдаун по 4. О, какая просто невероятная дамага!
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're live here from Kiev. It's time for our second match of day number 1 as we get into it now. The draft is well underway. We were fixing some audio issues, I believe, during the break. Hopefully you guys will have game sound now. And with that said, let's just hop right into the draft. Tinker on the Dire side, Alliance on the Radiant.
We've got a lot to cover in a very short amount of time
Speed
here.
drafting. I hope you're ready, Sind.
Okay, so Team Tinker. Wait, who had the first pick? And
Tinker,
who had the first
Alliance
pick?
had first pick.
Okay, so Alliance had the first pick. They banned out the Viper, then Tinker banned out the Brewmaster because he's like a stupid panda. Then they banned out the Legion Commander because Duel is pretty good. This version, IO is pretty good for Alliance because they've played it a million times. Anti-Mage, Lone Druid, good carries for Loda. Get rid of those. Fuck that.
Get that Rubik to counter the Magnus pick. They pick up a Slark to Snowball, Dark Pact off the RP.
Centaur and Jakiro, good heroes. Alliance will ban those because, yeah, pretty good. Skywrath actually got through to the third pick. Kind of surprising here. Team Tinker will be grabbing that together with the Timbersaw because they're against a couple of strength heroes and it's a pretty cool hero with the new axe upgrade, so they got that. Okay, that's kind of up to pace. Yeah. Disruptor, second pick for Alliance, to me is the one that really stands out here. That's a hero that generally doesn't get picked that early, but they really wanted it this time.
Oh man, those game sounds are a little loud. Hopefully that's just in my ears and not on the stream. I'm actually going to try lowering it a little bit. Oh man. Let's take that down a bit. Hopefully that fixes it.
So, Crystal Maiden Disruptor. First of all, the Disruptor gets picked early, and this support duo is a little weird for me, because usually what you pick Disruptor together with in a supporting tandem is someone... In a sense, Crystal Maiden can do the damage that Disruptor can't, but they don't have that much lockdown. They have a Frostbite to work with, as well as Glimpse. There's no long duration stun, there's no silence. And they don't have that much...
They're super reliant on Static Storm.
Yeah, and they're really squishy, both of them. They don't really have any good setup. You can't like glimpse into, let's say...
Frostbite, because Slark will just leap Dark Pact. Timbersaw will just chain away afterwards. Static Storm is the key here, I think, for Alliance.
And usually when you pick Disruptor, it's with a secondary, like, Disruptor is usually your position 5, so your position 4 is one that can really benefit from the farm, and like, for example, you would pick something like Disruptor and Enigma together, so you can like glimpse someone into a Malefice Black Hole or something like that, and there's someone else farming, but, well, if the Crystal Maiden of Alliance gets as farmed as Zai did for EG in the last game, I think you could just glimpse people into a freezing field and they're gonna die, but, I like this a lot from Team Tinker so far. I think they've got great solutions to what Alliance has, and now they're going to grab a Storm Spirit as well, in which Alliance really, once again, Static Storm. It's kind of, it's hard to imagine Alliance almost. I know this sounds
At some point, Tinker can get BKBs as well.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine Alliance winning teamfights or even skirmishes against this lineup without single target silences. You're playing against a Slark, Timber, and a Storm Spirit, and you have Static Storm.
Yeah, maybe you catch them by surprise with RP, but you don't... It's not that easy to do, and these are heroes that can quickly jump out if you don't fully finish them off. A lot of pressure on 8 Mothers Magnus. That's an interesting way to start off his LAN career. We'll see if he's been, honestly, pretty sensational on the Magnus. I would say right up there with S4. They banned out most of Lotus cores. His Anti-Mage was removed, the Bulldog Lone Druid banned out, and Terrorblade. It leaves Naga. Doesn't hugely benefit from Empower the way that some of those other carries do, but it's still the same old style from Alliance. They've been using this almost exclusively in online play. I've yet to see anything different.
I don't think
this is going to work.
This is not a good Naga game at all, though.
They have a natural silence in the Skywrath Mage, Timbersaw, who crushes illusions very hard, Storm, who's a good jumper, builds a Hex later on to get that instant initiation on Naga. Clockwork is probably not going to be that effective unless he snowballs. You can zip out of the cogs. The Timbersaw is normally tanky enough just to fight you within them. Slark can leap out as well. This is, I feel like Alliance actually have to do really well early, even though they've picked up their Loda, Naga, and the...
Yeah, and their support duo isn't that good for that early rotation. Like, Disruptor is not a good ganker early on. He's good against some heroes with the glimpse, but even then, who's going to do the real damage for Alliance during those ganks? You've got a Shockwave, maybe a Skewer, that's pretty good. The Clockwork lane is going to be incredibly hard to gank, I think. And, well, I'm curious to see how they do this. I think this is... I know this is kind of a bold prediction, but for me, this is going to be top 3, if not the biggest outpick of the whole tournament. I feel like Team Tinker has got a way better draft against Alliances. It's not like Alliances picks are bad, but into that lineup, they have to deal with a Storm, a Timber, and a Slark, and they have counters to none of them. The Storm Spirit can just jump on the Naga and kill her. Like, what are you going to do about it?
All right. I might be messing up the audio on the stream, but if so, hopefully we'll... This is like... I'll try to put it a little in the middle. It's like absolutely blasting in our ears right now. But have mercy on my eardrums, please.
So what Alliance absolutely need to do, like you said, they have to get off to a good early game. And it's with this support duo, so even though they're not that good at ganking, I still think they can get a kill or two off in between the Frostbite and the Glimpse combination if they pull that out. They might get a kill or two. I think that the absolute key target for Alliance to hold down is the Storm Spirit. If you ganked him 2 times in the early game, maybe he doesn't take off, because to me, this is one of those games where Storm Spirit can just take over the game. He can jump on Disruptor, kill him, and then he can just choose his next target freely almost, because Disruptor is kind of the only counter Alliance have to the Storm right now. And if you see Koikva going for a classic Storm Spirit build, which is like Orchid into BKB in here, he can just go to town.
If any of these 3 heroes snowball,
yeah, I
think Alliance maybe don't flat out lose, but they're at the disadvantage. And how do you stop all 3? That's going to be the tough question. I agree with you, Sin. I worry a lot for their draft. I think even early on it looked a little bit dubious, but the Storm pick seems like the perfect kind of linchpin to pull it all together. And with that, Tinker off to an 0-1 start here. They did lose to EG, who many consider the favorites for Group A, especially with Cloud9 now using the stand-in. They'll have a bit of an easier road here on paper. Let's see if Tinker can bounce back, make it a 1-1 start. They're on the dire side. You've got Sing Sing, your off-lane Timbersaw. Going mid will be Koikva on a Storm Spirit. That puts Boba onto one of his go-to supports. He was one of the players who played this the best, I would say, at TI4 on the Scarlet Mage. EGM on one of his signature heroes, the Rubik, and that leaves Pycat on the Slark for the Radiant side. Alliance in their debut match at Starladder Season 10. Well, Bulldog on his off-lane Clockwork, 8-Mother, once again on the solo mid-mag, something we've seen almost every game out of Alliance. Misery on that Crystal Maiden support. Do we see the early Midas? Does he get those quick kills? We'll find out soon. Ake, that support Disruptor, and it leaves Loda as the safe lane Naga Siren. Rudy's about to spawn. I've
got to say, though, like, I absolutely love seeing Disruptor. It's one of my favorite heroes in the game, and I think it's underutilized in the competitive scene. Especially the Glimpse is what makes this hero so unique, and there's no other ability that really compares to be honest, apart from if you want to call time-lapse similar, but that's for yourself, not for enemies, right? So, yeah. Love to see that, but again, it makes me wonder, why are Alliance second-picking this hero in this game? Their opener was Mag Disruptor, which have great synergy should the RP land. I mean, that's perfectly fine, but if you want to grab Disruptor that early, you have like a game plan with it. I'm not feeling it right now for Alliance, like how this deserved a second pick in this particular game.
Yeah, and I mean, even first pick Magnus, it's a hero that can be punished. Like the Rubik pick early on, in theory, can do a lot of work to deal with it. So obviously, A-Mother has excelled on the hero, but we'll just have to see. There's also not great synergy for Empower. I mean, I hate to just be ripping constantly in the Alliance draft, but let's see. Maybe they could prove us wrong. They're certainly picking their comfort zone for now. The run Bulldog in the offlane, but he gets lifted out of his own cogs, tossed back. Could well be your first blood. EGM and Boba working together to try and bring him down. They have another Arcane Bolt ready. The lift cooled down in 15 seconds. Don't think they get this kill, but they're going to try for it. Continuing to just fly out the auto attacks. Another auto attack. Bulldog now salving. He cogs. It won't matter. Losing the salve to boot. Great chase there from Tinker. And this is where Rubik excels against the hero. You cog, that's great. We lift you right out of it, and we put you in a very awkward position with no easy retreat. Really
good decision-making from EGM to start with boots. I think that kill doesn't happen without it. So, very nice opener
and he's salved. He's at such a disadvantage now.
This is extremely difficult for Bulldog. And it's not even an easy lane, or it's an even hard lane to begin with. So the fact that you die and then have to come back to a hard lane, I mean, sure, if it was a less hard lane and you mess up, okay, maybe you can make a comeback. But you're playing against Lark, who can pounce you in your cogs. Then there's the Rubik, who can lift you out of your cogs. And to boot with that, you have Skywrath, who is like arguably one of the highest support damage outputs in the early game. So they have the perfect recipe for dealing with this Bulldog Clockwork.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about the Rubik lift until we saw it there. But I mean, on top, yeah, the 3 cores just don't care about cogs really at all. So Not the best start for Alliance. Let's see if they can find a way to bounce back. Early on, they are getting good farm on Loda. Obviously, that's going to be key. The one thing they will have is this Naga split push, and Tinker a good deep push, decent gank. It's not a guaranteed recipe for success, but without Loda getting a good start, there's just no hope. Still, the cores for Tinker farming well. They're actually running the store mid. This is pretty interesting, Sid. It's something we just haven't seen much of lately, and generally this is punished by a lot of early ganking, or just other heroes like Razor just dominating him in the mid lane, but well, against a mag, Storm excels against most of these melee solo mids.
And Ape Mother is just getting outplayed in this lane. It's also very hard to play a melee hero into Storm, but it's still 17 CS to currently 9, and Koikva even getting the bounty rune here. He'll be getting level 6 way earlier than the mag, and that makes for solo kill potential. It's the extra few denies for Koikva, as well as, I guess, a little bit of zoning that has given him this half-level advantage. And if he takes, if he uses that, or if there's any sort of support rotation coming in, Ape Mother's going to die. And this mag is another crucial part of Alliance's lineup. As we talked about, Ape Mother in this game will probably be playing one of those heavy team fighters that needs to create space and give time for Loda. If Mag is on the back foot, it's so incredibly hard to hit an RP against this Team Tinker lineup to begin with, and then if you don't have a Blink Dagger, there's no way.
Unless you use Psalm to initiate. But then if you screw that fight up, you have no exit plan.
No.
Generally, you don't want to bring your Naga to fights early, so it might be a game where Loda has to get involved a little more. For now, Saintsin is off late, doing okay on the Timbersaw. He hits level 2. Bulldog is getting more overall, despite giving up first blood, by a significant margin. And let's be clear, Timber does need a decent amount of farm, certainly more so than a Clockwork. So this is the one really piece of good news for Alliance. They might be losing mid, they may have given up a first blood top, but they are getting overall the better exchange in the off lane outside of that.
Yeah, how we're looking for the supports for Tinker. It's level 3 Skywrath, level 1 Rubik, but he's stacking a lot. Again, EGM, similar to how he did in the earlier game we saw today, just getting a lot of stacks on these camps. Wonder who's going to farm it, if they're going to give it to Koikva and get him like really strong, or if it's the comeback mechanism for Sing Sing here. I think it's either of those two options. And what are we looking at for Alliance? Misery's level 3, as expected on that Crystal Maiden. Will be having the highest experience of any support in the game right now. And Aki currently only level 2, though.
There was a smoke here from Tinker. I believe this Alliance ward actually spotted out, though they didn't paint it immediately. And they're actually going to go straight back towards top. Not sure if Bulldog expects that rotation, but he is playing it safe and retreating. He'll throw out a rocket, not going to get any eyes on them. Maybe they weren't watching them. I'm pretty sure one of them smoked right here. I'm not sure if they got up the ramp. Maybe they did. Either way, he is playing back now, so it seems he's, if nothing else, a little bit nervous about a gank.
It's very important he doesn't get caught out right now. Team Tinker are investing a lot of time into this. They actually even got spotted by the ward here.
Now, it took so long to smoke.
Well,
the jig's up now for sure.
Oh, and the Alliance could have taken advantage of this and bait Bulldog up there and try to get a turnaround, which they will do with Misery, but Tinker realized this is a way too high risk, low reward kind of gank, so they let it go.
They've got a level 6 on Pycat. It's almost unkillable. They're going to try for it, though, but he pops his ultimate. Now the rotation comes in from the Crystal Maiden. Pycat still thinking about a chase. He's rushing Midas. Doesn't want to go down here. He'll get frostbitten. Pycat overextending, underestimating the rotations. Now glimpse back. They'll end up losing their Slark right before he had the Midas. Did he buy the Gloves of Haste? No, just a teleport scroll. Was short on it. That was a pretty greedy play from Pycat, and he gets punished.
Yeah, he using the pounce aggressively there, but I guess he wasn't aware of where Alliance's supports were, so he thought he could go for that kill, and then the moment they're there, it's just too late. When you've used your pounce, you're not getting out again. So
yeah,
very good rotation from Alliance. Very important here that they especially have Disruptor involved, so that Aki not only gets the kill, but gets some good experience here. Currently almost level 4 because of that. He came with level 2.5, so got like a full level out of that kill. But I'm just still very worried for Alliance. They got crushed in that mid lane. Ape Mother is 18 CS against a 38 and 15 Storm Spirit. And in my book, this is the hero that Alliance needed to counter, and they've left Koikva completely unchecked. If he keeps getting good farm, I mean, even Loda right now could almost get ganked in that bot lane by Koikva and the Timbersaw combined. They could almost kill him before he gets his ult off.
He does have a teleport scroll as well. Probably just for the counter ganks, but there's an option here for Koikva to rotate early. And they have great gank supports. The Skywrath Mage hits level 3. EGM is, speaking of supports who need to get a good start, I don't know if he needs to, but he's definitely not having one. Only level 2. Compare that to his Wisps last game. He is going to be much slower to hit 6, and this is really good news for Ape Mother. When you're up against the Rubik, if the Rubik's off to a slow start, well, they'll need someone to clear out the stack to catch EGM up.
Yeah,
they have decent heroes to clear it with.
They could do it with Koikva here. I think that's the better call. Sing Sing is going to hit level 6 very late, so... And they desperately need this experience on EGM, like you pointed out. He needs to get that. Does fail the stack here, actually. Almost got it, but is that a triple or a quad already?
Triple.
It's a triple, right?
Yeah,
so
triple.
it is possible to get a quad, but it's very difficult with this combination of creeps, I think. So, well, alternatively, what they could do is they could play EGM mid for a bit. Let Koikfa take the stacks, give EGM a solo lane. The mag is not that intimidating right now, I think, and Clockwork's only level 5, so how are they actually going to even initiate on the Rubik?
Yeah, and if he walks up for a skewer, you just lift him and back off. So without a Blink Dagger, you're not getting that kill. That's where maybe Bulldog looks to rotate. You can lift him out of the cogs. He might be able to chase you down anyway. As he picks up a Glove of Haste, then sells it. I wonder if he was even thinking about a Midas. Like, do Alliance try to Midas gaming this game? They already know that there's a Midas on the Slark. It's possible that, I don't think we'll see any other Midases from Tinker, but they do flash farm pretty well. It's Storm and Timber.
I want to point out, speaking of Timber, Sing Sing is going for a very unusual skill build here. He's playing an off-lane Timber without reactive armor on level 5. He's going all in on the DPS here. Hasn't really been able to use it yet, obviously, but what I like a lot about this build-up is how it synergizes with the Storm. The fact that these two heroes combined can then burst Loda. And if he plays this defensively, the reactive armor does nothing for him anyway.
And the illusions will do very little until ultra late game. And even then, I mean, Timbersaw has a lot of pure damage. He just shreds those anyway. So, well, we'll see. The other thing is there's a lot of nuke damage for Alliance Sin. So I'm not sure how good reactive armor really is for you. The regen's nice, but I don't think the armor does that much.
It gets procced really fast if the illusions zack him, though. Then you get the stacks up really quickly. And even though it's magical damage for a large part for Alliance, then if you have a high-level reactive armor that you almost instantly get up to 16, that still does matter a hell of a lot.
It does. Well, especially later on when the Naga's right-clicking more.
They will indeed let Koikfa take these stacks. Oh my god, this Storm Spirit is going to get out of control. I mean, Loda is still getting great farm, so that's the bright spot for Alliance right now, is that their safe lane is going according to plan. But the thing is, in comparison to other Naga games that we've seen, I feel like this is a game where there's so many combinations of Team Tinker heroes that can just kill the Naga off. Koikfa plus anyone, Tinker plus Skywrath when Skywrath is level 6 can probably also get the kill just because of the single target silence. You can have the Slark from Pycat, which is probably going to get a blink after these treads if he does what he usually does. And even the Rubik together with either of the Team Tinker cores might be enough. So Loda can't play the classic Naga Siren game in this. I think you're going to have to play it more passively, means you get less farm, and that's a big issue.
He is farming very well so far. Load up to 2,700 gold. Looks like he's going to fully rush the Relic. No Ring of Aquila picked up, no drums. His EGM taking a constant beating for Bulldog in this mid lane. Some hate on the old teammate. He's going to buy his arcane boots. Even if he dies, it won't be the biggest deal. And I imagine we'll see Bulldog go for a final snipe here. He's thinking about it.
He is firing it. No, that's not going to hit.
He'll let one fly, but that's just towards the bottom lane. The Brilliant backup, though. Koikfa's here. Bulba's ready as well. They've got their no tallies picked up.
This rocket is going to make him feel safe in the bottom lane. He just spotted that there's no one, so this smoke is going to be perfectly timed here if Alliance don't realize.
No static storm yet, though. Misery's walking up a bit.
Oh, they broke the smoke. Misery with great positioning here. Breaking out the smoke from Bulba, and that means this gank is completely failed now, and Koikfa will just rotate back to middle.
Yeah, there's a nice observer ward here as well, so if they try to wrap up through the river, won't be too effective. Storm slowing down his farm, and that also gives the Magnus some breathing room. 8 Mother lane against the Rubik, that's pretty much free farm in the mid lane. He's still way down on CS compared overall to the Storm, but he's got the key item.
10-minute blink, not too bad.
Haste and a blink. He could make some big plays. And with that and the Clockwork level 6, this is an opportunity for Alliance to fight Tinker before their cores get too tanky, too durable. 8 Mother now lumbering back towards mid. Koikfa trying to steal farm off of the other side, or off of 8 Mother's jungle. And he'll look for a stack which was fully cleaned out by Koikfa. That's pretty big economic damage. Magnus Arcane Boot's a long way off now. The buzzing is gone.
Yeah.
My brain is like feeling peaceful now.
Just got that audio issue fixed. That's amazing. Just gave a thumbs up to the tech here.
Top lane, they jump in on Bulldog. They'll find the kill with Pycat here. Koikfa jumped in to start.
Do you have a glimpse from Aki here?
Well, glimpse into what? No static storm. He's invis anyway. And while that's going on in the river, looks like 8 Mother did force out a teleport from Bulba. RP was not used. Or skewer. I guess he didn't want to waste it on just the Skywrath Mage.
And now EGM, who was level 2, 6.5 minutes in, he's got almost a level per minute. He's now level 6.
And he's still in level 4 Shockwave. Maybe not as good as RP in some cases, but this is a lot of burst
EGM,
damage.
so he's going to farm with it, right? He's a position 4 support, but one of the players in the world who likes getting farmed the most on his supports. So, That was maybe a little bit too greedy on the support on the farming.
From 8 Mother mid lane, catches the Rubik out and couldn't even get off a lift. RP was expended this time around.
Yeah, still easily worth it. 8 Mother, whenever he can get a solo kill like that, should just go for it. Slows down the Rubik, removes the shockwave from his arsenal as well, which is pretty important because if Rubik tries to gank now, that's 225 damage that he doesn't have.
Spammable damage as well.
Yeah. So nice kill from 8 Mother, and I mean, so far so good for Alliance in terms of not losing the early game. We said the early game was important for them. They're getting their levels. We're soon going to see a level 6 on the Disruptor, which is an absolute key level up for Alliance. Misery is currently level 7 on the CMs, are doing great for herself, but I'm still worried about that Storm Spirit if I'm looking at this with Alliance eyes. This is not... He is going to be so damn scary.
Oblivion Staff 1 is up, and Orchid probably by like, what, the 16, 17 minute mark with an early Null Talisman and Treads.
And one assist only.
All the accoutrements.
Right. He hasn't even got kills. So if he gets a kill or two now, this is going to be a very, very quick Orchid. Oh, the Skewer!
Mid, though, Koikfa very low in his mana pool. He'll barely be able to lift out, and now Skewer was stolen. We'll see a very mobile Rubik soon, while simultaneously in the bottom lane, Sing Sing duke it out against 3. Not going to happen for him. He will end up dropping. This gives Loda a 13-minute relic. Radiant's not far off either.
And Aki gets level 6 and almost Arcane Boots. That's a really, really good kill right there for Alliance. Giving Loda the last hit here as well is completely perfect for them. So it's going to be a fast Radiance. I'm surprised we haven't seen Team Tinker trying more to stop this Naga when they have the tools. Like the Slark,
the Slark, the Storm.
Slark hasn't moved. The Storm hasn't ganked bottom once. The Timbersaw is already level 8 in the bot lane. He's going for the full DPS build, mind you. 3 in Whirling Death, 4 in Timber Chain. They have so many ways of dealing with this, but their Skywrath Mage is only level 4 though. Bulba not really having the best of times in this game. He's 1-0-0, but hasn't found experience. So that's perhaps the big problem and the stopper right now for Tinker is that they feel like that Skywrath isn't strong enough. He has to find the level somehow, though, so I would say a gank on Naga wouldn't be the worst way to do it.
Yeah, especially before Loda manages to farm the Manta after the Radiance, which is, at which point your Storm's not a great solution. Still can force out Song, which is pretty nice. Pycat now looking for some aggression. He's got his Blink, and for him, that's his chance to get active on the map. They'll spot out Bulldog. They do get some eyes on him, but he goes Invis. He Dark Packs and then gets hooked. What a play by Bulldog, the Sniperino. Then they glimpse it back into the Static Storm. Pycat's been caught out. Really fantastic execution there from Alliance. Caught him without having eyes on him. But they just knew the path he was taking from that little black cloud of smoke. Nicely done, and it's Alliance making most of the early plays. The solo RP mid.
Oh, Bulldog.
Not finding the pickoff.
Yeah.
Will be traded for as Koikfa jumps in, killing off the clock.
It has the double damage. Bulldog was pretty low HP. 8 Mother.
I like how he just keeps on trying with these skewers. Doesn't always work, but the thought is right.
I don't know if there was even any kill potential there. There was no backup from his team at that point, I believe. But if nothing else, he's getting inside the heads of Team Tinker here, who need to play a little more passively and a little more carefully on the lanes to not get blink skewered. So he's at least showing confidence, right? He's going for the plays. He's trying them. And we were talking about a pregame how players playing like their first big LAN event or playing with their first big team is, of course, just a stand-in, but still. Sometimes it's either hit or miss. So far in this game, I feel like it's mainly been hit. I mean, he's been missing some skewers, but his play has been on point. He hasn't died. He's got decent farm, even though he lost the lane in the beginning, which was to be expected. Up against a player like Koikfa and an unfavorable matchup, he's still doing okay.
He certainly is, and Tinker not really snowballing yet, but there's still a lot of items that they need before their lineup fully comes online. Slark only with the blink. He can start to get active, but has a lot more room to grow here. They're also running the Storm, who still doesn't complete his Orchid. He closes in on it now, and a Bloodstone will be the next choice for Sing Sing. Snaps up the Snow Rain, already has the Arcade Boots, and, well, they're not in any hurry, but they are giving Loda total free farm for now. Radiance up, he's the leader in net worth, even against a Midas Slark. I think this is about as ideal a start as Alliance ever could have hoped for.
Yeah.
They gave up First Blood top, but that's a difficult kill to avoid, and overall, Bulldog's still been an impact here on the mid game. Well, the end of the laning stage, I should
say. And I think when Koikfa gets that Orchid, it's go time for Tinker. They don't want to just sit back and let Alliance slowly take control of the map. In my opinion, they've already been a bit too passive, and now the item choices have to like guide them in the game to make the right call. It's like when you get that Orchid, you feel like you have to use it. It's just like when you pick up that item, it gives you some sort of responsibility for your team in the game to find kills. And Koikfa is a great player to have that on. He is pretty aggressive by nature, still knows how to find his farm, but isn't one of the players that would just go AFK and farm for like 30 minutes on a hero like Storm. He will be looking for the kills.
Yeah, maybe on his old Nature's Prophet or Lone Druid, but
even then he was pretty active quite a lot. at least with the Prophet. Lone Druid is a little special in that regard. The hero kind of works that way.
Team fighting Lone Druid. Well, you can always
Smoke
go medic
gets broken.
Bear, you know?
Yeah, now that the bear is mono, right?
That's true.
Oh, there's the Orchid picked up.
Orchid was picked up. Tinker whiffed on the smoke gank, and while that was happening, they're going to give up a free tier 1 to Loda. Well, maybe not. They're rotating in the backup. Slark will join this, and will clear out the creep wave. Tower now in deny range. They're not going to commit too much on this in the end. He's just going to walk back in and try and go for it.
Oh,
uses
nice
the mirror
play
image
from Loda.
as Flycat tries to connect with the latch. Loda will get the last hit. Now he can song, and he'll just TP out. This TP will even get canceled. There's just no chance of stopping him. Loda with a bit of an outplay there.
Pycat was trying to bait Loda to go for that tower to blink pounce him, and then just perfect timing on the mirror image.
And we are going to see Midas gaming for Misery. He just bought it, so even if he dies, not the biggest deal, still a kill's a kill. The Soul Burn will finish him off. They disrupt Koikva, and then glimpse him, and then back into a Static Storm. Then the follow-ups there from the Mystic Flare from Bulba. Huge damage done by her Skywrath Mage, and now they chase onwards, looking for Ake. They brought down 3. It's about to be 4. That's the kind of fight Tinker searching for, and there's no song. They can commit on Loda. That's the call from Pycat. He can't get out of here, guys. If I get the sleep, it's a kill on the Naga. It's about to be a team wipe. Oh, Alliance just crumbling under the pressure. Do they at least get a return kill with an illusion? They will. Almost managed to burn down a second hero.
And it looked like that looked like it was going to be really good for Alliance with that RP, actually. Got 2 heroes. Didn't really get the follow-up combination that they were looking for, though. And great counterplay coming out from both Bulba and the Timbersaw of Sing Sing. The Skywrath silence there on the Magnus is what saved that fight, preventing him from using the Skewer and getting them out from that RP position. And
all of a sudden, a wild Blink Dagger appears on EGM. Remember when he was level 2 at 5 minutes? Not anymore.
Oh, he got so much out of that. He also stole RP in that fight, by the way. I didn't see it get used,
I think that was right as the Mystic Flare came out.
And he did use it, though. So he might have held him in place, but I didn't notice that particular play here from EGM. But that means he has it again, which is probably going to mean that Team Tinker will be on the offensive now. They have everything they need when that RP is up again, and maybe even before. Koikva looking for something here.
Our Illusion's doing a bit of a scout, and they do get eyes on Tinker. Alliance they got to play real cautiously right now, Sin. They do have their song cooling down. That wasn't available in the fight, and that was part of the issue. Like, if Loda had been able to TP it in song, limit the damage to maybe 2 or 3 heroes, could have been very different. And, well, not going to happen in the end. Tinker just waiting for a push bottom lane. They're ready to counter-initiate. EGM's Blink Dagger may get canceled by Radiance Burn, something he'll have to be a bit cautious about as the Chakram comes out. Good deep push here overall from Tinker. They throw out a rocket. Don't get eyes on EGM, though. He's off in the tree line. He's ready to go. Alliance sitting directly.
They found Loda. They know which one is real now. Not trying for it, though, EGM. He could have maybe tried for that play, but without the Storm there, it's probably not a good idea. They know the entirety of Alliance is there. So they're going to fake that they back off, and they're going to smoke. I don't think Tinker saw that. No, they don't have any vision. So this could be a very successful smoke for Alliance. This is a good play. It's not a very obvious smoke in my book, especially not with Loda still showing in that bottom lane. Okay, now he's not. So, well.
All right, we're just trying to fix Dota TV audio, guys.
And they're going to rotate back here. This is a pretty smart play from Alliance, but looks like Tinker are just waiting. They're like, okay, you don't want to show on the map? Fine, we'll farm our jungle with the Storm, we'll farm top with the Slark, and you guys can run around in circles all you want.
The game has slowed down. That's where having a Midas from Pycat will be nice. There was a retaliatory Midas for Misery. No surprises on his Crystal Maiden. And this stolen RP is about to wear off soon. So I think Alliance, a nice bullet dodge there. Not getting caught out by that in a big team fight. Still, it's not like you can just say, oh, we've got Naga and Magnus. We have the slate. Loda gets jumped on top lane. He will be forced to song. The Dark Pact doing a good job on him. Not finishing him off, though. Pycat, no ultimate ready. He has a leap. Can he get out of this one? This is going to be tough. Static Storm deployed. They will find him. Looking for more. 8-Mother went in for the haste Blink Skewer, but did fail to connect on Bulba, who now won't be allowed to retreat out. Chased down by the rest of Alliance and finished off. Glimpse was used there just to cancel that TP attempt. Nicely played by Ake. Tinker, a little bit sloppy in these jumps, and I think underestimating how ready Alliance are to defend at their towers.
I think what Tinker should be doing is they should use the Storm more for these ganks. If they want Pycat to jump in on someone, have the Storm on backup. It's an instant kill every time. If they jump onto Loda like that with an Orchid, he
has no Manta. He's only got Boots of Travel and Radiance. He's not getting out of that.
That's why what I was saying earlier about Team Tinker's lineup, where the draft is just so extremely good at dealing with Naga right now, but they're not really playing it completely to its strengths in that regard, where I'd like to see a little bit more action out of Koika and perhaps a little less farming than he's done. I mean, sure, keep up with your farm, but if you lock down the Naga, it's game over for Alliance. It's the only hero they have. Look at the farm chart right now. It's like no one else has anything. No one else has good scaling into late game. And even the Magnus, who can sometimes be regarded as half a carry if he empowers himself or if there's a good carry to empower. We talked about that earlier. It's not really that good with Naga Siren, to be honest. And you never want to try himself, he doesn't have the farm to carry in this game.
And you never want to try to out late game a Rubik. Like when you're a Magnus, you can't just say, "Oh, we have RP, we can just win the late game fights." That's certainly not a guarantee. They are going back to just more split push, though. Koikfa pushing in the top lane, and this is a slight concern for Alliances. Once he gets BKB, there's very little ways to stop this kind of split push. It's not just the one BKB. They're looking most likely for a secondary one here in Pycat. I suppose could be a Sanjin Yasha, alternatively. But should they get 2-3 BKBs on their cores?
He actually has it. It's a full BKB for Pycat on the courier.
Oh, jeez. Now they can be very aggressive with tower diving and with split push. Worst case scenario, they probably just waste a BKB and have to run. Yeah. Unless everything is committed by Alliance for a kill.
I like this a lot from Tinker now. They realize, okay, there's a bottom tier 1 we still haven't taken. Reduce the map control so Naga can't farm. If you can't gank her, you can at least just reduce her impact on the map, and this is what Sing Sing's doing right now. Alliance will not be defending this tower. It will be going down to the creeps, unfortunately, for Sing Sing, but still mission accomplished overall. And this aggressive ward right now, this is the kind of stuff that I was expecting to see more out of Tinker. Ward the Radiant jungle so that they can see Naga or any other hero going into farm and just get the jump with the Storm. But still, Koikva will be in the top lane, maybe perhaps expecting that Loda will try to farm here since the other heroes are showing bottom. It would be a very natural move for a split pushing hero like Naga to try to go to the lane where nothing is happening, but Loda doing the right thing by not going to the top lane right now.
Loda's played this really well overall. Has just a single death. Part of that is maybe that Tinker haven't been aggressive enough, but a lot of it's just he's been timely overall. And the one death was trying to bail his team out of a bad fight mid. So even that you could say is someone on his team. There's a glimpse on the Pycat.
Seen this before.
No static Storm though. He'll be able to retreat for now, but the rotation comes. A great hook from Bulldog right through two. They RP'd to kill off the Rubik, or actually no, canceled at the last second. Not using it yet, but a 3-hero Mystic Flare. Great counter initiate from Tinker now. Searching for a bit more. The BKB used by Pycat. Can he get any kills off the back of this? It's going to wear off now. Forced to retreat. It's up to Sing Sing. He blows them all up, shredding everyone. 3 heroes fall. And this is before the Storm even gets active in the fight. 4 now. 5. It's a wipe. Tinker erasing Alliance from the map, wiping the floor of their jungle and saying, go back to the well and rethink your approach to this game. That's not going to work.
Great play from Pycat here to get aggressive like that.
12 Bloodstone charges already on Sing Sing.
The moment, both Pycat and Sing in that, and pretty much everything Team Tinker did there just really well executed. Love seeing Pycat. He's been a little bit too aggressive in this game. The moment he has the BKB, he's kind of playing like he did before, just now it's more justified, right?
Yeah.
That was exactly what he needed to do. Good BKB timing, took so much attention, they still didn't bring him down. He forced an RP on himself only while in BKB. Loda still died, and that meant essentially the RP was wasted, and then it's just so easy being Sing Sing in this. He knows Glimpse is used, he knows that the Static Storm was also used on the Slog there, so he gets free play. And then Koikva comes in, then it's just like, what are you going to do? You've used all your counters, losing a 4-on-5 fight.
They won that fight without Koikva. He finished the job, but it does not bode well for Alliance. And Loda can't even really get out on the map because of all the abilities they have to punish that split push. Slark and his mobility, doesn't have a stun yet, but at some point this game he gets an Abyssal Blade. At which point, your Naga's got to be instant with the song. Koikva will eventually farm up a Hex. Timbersaw probably will as well. Double Hex and Abyssal Blade. I don't think this is a 1v5 game, Sin. Going back to our initial analysis, Alliance are going to have to find pickoffs and somehow create space for Loda. He can't do this 1v5.
No. And finding those ganks when the BKBs come up is so incredibly hard, because there's kind of only one way of killing Koikva or Pycat, and that is RPing them before they BKB. Even the hookshot, even though it goes through BKB, they don't have the damage at all. If the BKB is used, the hero won't die. So it's It's a tall order now for Alliance. Do they have any smokes available? I don't think they do. For some reason, my PC is rebooting, by the way. I'm not
sure. They have one in the shop, one on Ake's inventory.
So they do have two. Hopefully this is going to be resolved. But luckily, it's mine crashing and not yours. So
at least we have video.
So we still have video.
It's the little things to be thankful for here. As they go in, they RP mid lane. It's on to Koikfa. He does have the BKB. Can he pop it in time? He will. Then zips out. EGM looking for the spell steal. Hasn't used anything yet. He's not going to bother. I think it was too late. As the song comes out, Koikfa will retreat. Nobody in Tinker caught on this aside from Pycat, and you're not killing that Slark. He's able to run away. Loda and Misery just forced to retreat. Magnus goes in with an RP, and then what? You have no other follow-up to deal with these BKBs unless your Disruptor somehow farms an Aghanim Scepter. That will continue to be the case. As well, we're still waiting for Sin to get his computer back, but just do the best you can, buddy. I feel your pain.
All I can see your camera at least, right? So that's the good news. You can still have a look at that, but I can't click around myself right now. But yeah,
feel free to just yell at me if you want to look at something.
Look at Storm. So this tier 2 is probably going to fall here. Alliance not really in the best of positions to defend this, and now the map is going to be falling apart more and more for Alliance. I think Roshan is next on the list for Team Tinker, not too far into the future. The only thing they have to be really careful about with that is the Song of the Siren Steel. Because should Mag jump in, if they have their fingers on their BKBs, they can do the counterplay. Even if they get caught 2 or 3 heroes in the pit, they can still win the fight by just using that magic immunity. So.
And Loda does get his Manta now, so he's got a solution to the Orchid.
That's a really important pickup right here.
It does allow him to be more aggressive for a time, but at mid lane, Pycat's jumped in. He's gone on to Misery, looking for that Crystal Maiden pick.
Force staff.
Can't quite find it. Didn't want to commit too much further for that, but this is the kind of aggression that Tinker have available, and it can't really be punished. Not now, anyway.
Pycat right now is zoning out 3 heroes on his own. There's no backup
and meanwhile,
here,
Storm's farming. Sing Sing has an Aghanim Scepter. He's nearly evened out the farm between himself and all other cores in the game. On the back of that triple kill earlier, he's in great shape too. They also, I think they lost the gem in the last fight. Yeah, Misery had bought a gem earlier, and that was secured by Tinker, so it further compounds the map control issue. I'm not sure how Alliance resolved that. They don't have the great ganking lineup at this point.
It just, to me, it feels like they pigeonholed themselves, and this was how it looked like in the draft, that this was how the game was probably going to go, and if it did, they don't really have a plan B. So now they kind of have to rely on Team Tinker making a mistake or two and getting a good fight off of that. But I don't know if they're going to do that. I think they're going to play this very well.
They jump into 8 Mother initially. He gets silenced. He can't do anything. No BKB. Picked off just by Pycat. Very little commitment. A Magnus kill. And no Naga trades yet. Is farming her own woods. Is trying to push in the bottom lane, Loda is. But already Alliance sound the retreat back to the tier 3 tower. They're giving up a lot of territory. And Naga just won't split push fast enough yet. No Butterfly. Doesn't have that many items. Maybe gets a tier 1, but sacking a Mag and a tier 2, not a good trade. And that's assuming they get it, which right now, Glyph was used, but not enough. They will at least get that tower. Doesn't get the last hit, but at least something here for Alliance. Still doesn't feel good enough.
They've managed to take the tier 1s now, so if Loda can start pushing out the lanes, maybe he can start farming the enemy jungle a little bit with the illusions and perhaps find some space through that, but as long as Team Tinker control the map the way they're doing right now, pushing out all the lanes, trying to contain all the Alliance heroes on their own side, then even should Loda get good farm, in my book, Team Tinker still have the tools to deal with it. So my question for Alliance is, assuming Loda gets a full inventory, who else is getting items in this game, and how are you going to win based off that? Do you want to farm up the Mag? Do you feel like you can get some items on the Clockwork that can have a big impact? I think Ape Mother has to be more greedy and claim more farm, and has to build a damage build. They don't have enough.
It's like, it might already be too late for that, though, right? Like, how can he go out on the map now? He doesn't have a BKB, so he can't go out against Koikfa. The Slark, if he wants, could complete an Abyssal Blade very soon. Pycat also has the option of going Scotty. Maybe doesn't solo kill Mag, but with any +1, he will get that kill. That does seem to be their only solution. I just don't know where Ape Mother goes. Like, you could just see his hesitance to leave the base. He knows how little vision they have. He knows their lack of control, and he doesn't want to throw this game by trying to force the issue of finding that farm. But you are right. Somebody's got to get farm. Misery's Midas is... This is not really a great, like, carry Crystal Maiden game. There's so many BKBs. There's so much mobility on the enemy team. Unless those BKBs go down to 5 seconds and are somehow wasted, you just can't count on it for Misery. Short of an 8 Mother 3-4 hero RP, which seem to be in short supply this time around.
It's kind of the only thing Alliance have going for them right now is the combo. Should it land, they can still wipe Tinker. RP, Static Storm, Crystal Maiden ultimate. They have so many things to drop the damage here, but Tinker are just not initiating that way, so it's never going to happen. They don't cluster up. They jump in Pycat or the Storm. They use their incredible mobility to just attack from multiple angles at once. So the best possible RP Ape Mother can get is on 1 or 2 heroes, and even if it's 2 of the good heroes, it's not enough.
Man, losing that gem was such a problem. Look at the vision for Alliance right now.
They can't go anywhere.
They have nothing. Like, they see that much currently, but that's solely because the illusions push out the map.
Now they're going to break their smoke to counter a ward here. That shows how desperate they are for map control.
Oh my.
Yeah, this ain't happening.
That is normally the progression for the carry Naga, right? Like, you get a gem on a support, you put it on the hero, the illusions get true sight, and you can control the map, but it's just too easy to find these jumps. And now, Alliance really bottled in. Should they lose this game, I think it's fair to ask the question, do they have any other strategies? Because so far, over the past couple weeks, I've cast like maybe 10 games, and it's been some variation of the same strategy almost every time. Or did they just not have time to develop any new ones with the last-minute change in stand-ins, Ape Mother filling in for Chessie?
Well, even then, I would say, oh, wait a second, this is not good for one of the teams.
He's going to get eyes on Alliance. Who's going to get jumped here? Loda does have his heart. They 5-man to the tower or to the secret shop just to get the heart, because they know if the courier goes there, it's going to die. Now the jump in backside. Pycat goes in. RP was used, but he dark packed it off. Oh no, EGM now stealing that level 2 RP. He zaps down the disruptor. He looks for more. He doesn't even need to use it yet. Song deployed by Loda. Does he have a teleport out? He's going to BOT out immediately. He'll need to do this, and while that's happening, they dive out the clockwork. Sing Sing getting the last hit. They win that fight, taking down 4, forcing out Song, and without even using the stolen RP.
And without having Skyreth there,
they just have they have no solutions for this Slark. He dark packed it off RP. What do you do at that point? You just lose the fight.
And what I was going to point out was, yes, this is classic Alliance style, but I think for their style, this is still... It's like a degrade in strategy almost, right? If you want to play the Naga Siren strategy, I feel like this, against this Tinker lineup and what you have yourself, it's worse than what they usually draft with their split push. It's like it's a different version of the 4 Protect 1, but it's with the 4 heroes here not working well against Tinker. So
yeah, Clockwork is totally useless at this stage.
And there's no problem with playing this 4 Protect 1 style. I mean, Alliance can still play it if they're successful with it, but then the 4 protecting the 1 need to be better against the 5 on the other team. If you want to play a 4 Protect 1, you better pick the right 4.
And the matchups just aren't right. Very few solutions for Slark. Clockwork, everyone can either... Rubik can lift him out of the cogs, the others can just jump out or just fight him inside of them. And RP against the Rubik, very, very dangerous to even use it in a team fight. But Alliance will try to turn their fortune now. They walk towards the Roche Pit. There's a song to start. It's too late. Quick already got Aegis, and now jumps in onto Loda, pulling in the Naga. Has no getaway plan. No Manta Style either. Well, the Haster, that'll be her getaway plan, but while she's busy getting away, the rest are getting absolutely trashed. Koikfa jumping in onto the Hasted Loda, runs out of mana now. His aggression will end here. They lost their 3 backline. And the Naga against the world just doesn't seem to be cutting it. The Haster, is he running back in? He's just trying desperately to juke out this leap. And now he chases, but the 4th hero fell. The Magnus dropping, and finally they'll go back to Loda, clearing him out. He'll fall. It's a full 5-man wipe. A desperation Roshan counterplay attempted. Falling incredibly short there.
I like that Alliance went for that, because it means that they understand that in this game situation there is nothing left apart from going for something like that. They had to try it. Koikva used his BKB before Roshan fell, so knowing that this play was coming from Alliance, good play out of him to not get slept and then get the Aegis stolen. And then at that point, that fight was just over. But Alliance had to try it. And if they lose one more fight, this game is over. I would say at this point, coming back is like next to impossible, even with the new, a little bit rubber band on gold. This is still such an incredible mountain to climb. It's 20k gold in an unfavorable matchup game.
Yeah. The heroes that will use that rubber band gold just aren't likely to be effective.
No.
No matter how much gold you give them. Well, maybe if everyone's 6-slotted.
That's like a CM.
That's like a 60k gold swing. Pycat now working on the tower mid. He's confidently split pushing. He knows there's very little to deal with him. And he closes in on an Abyssal Blade, at which point you could just go on the Naga. BKB, Abyssal. If you see the Magnus coming in, you just Dark Pact off the RP. He may be able to solo the Naga Siren. This is getting trickier and trickier for Alliance. Tier 2 now in jeopardy mid lane. Taker with the win here would improve to 1-1. They drop Alliance down to 0-1. Remember, each team only gets 3 great games in this group stage, and Group A looks to be a very hotly contested group. EG perhaps the big dogs right now, off to a 1-1 start of their own. That stolen RP will be wearing off fairly soon for EGM. They'll smoke now. Still no gem back on the Naga. And they'll look to find some openings. Even if they don't get kills, they are keeping everyone from Alliance restricted to like 1/8 of the map. The struggle is very real here. And they're building more Bloodstones now. I mean, hey, why not? Just
staying here for Alliance isn't going to work. I mean, if Tinker don't come to them, Alliance has to come to Tinker here. Because Tinker could just choose to farm the map and be like, okay, you want to stand in your base? Go ahead, we'll farm the map for 10 minutes. You're behind another 15k gold, and then we'll go in when we feel like. But
Pyket's diving the tier 3 towers right now, zoning the entire team. Like, even Loda can't leave the base, and that's with the Manta. While that was happening, EGM tried to go for a blink into a lift and pull the Magnus back out. Didn't happen. But eventually one of these are... Uh-oh. Dota just crashed.
Oh, no.
Everything's crashing. Is this really happening?
No, you're not having my problem, are you? Is everything shutting down?
It's my computer's shutting down. I'm trying to open Steam again. Oh, it's shutting down. We'll cast off of... I think this is the Russian stream right now. I hope it is anyway. Pycat Leapy in mid lane. RP was canceled. Looking for the turn there. The double chakrams come out. Sing Sing trying to clear out these illusions. As Tinker find the Disruptor kill to start that one. Turn my head a bit late to the other monitor. Can they break the base DOS in? I guess that's the question. Not that they need to do it now, but is this the time where they can cement their advantage and just take a clean win here versus Alliance?
I would say they can, but at the same time, you could also say, why would they, right? This, the only thing that could really force them into doing it is if there was like a tiebreaker with time rating, but that's not happening until we get to, if we get a 3-way tie and it's important, then they're playing again, and then if that's a tiebreaker, then they look at time rating. So it's like extremely far in.
And time rating
at this point doesn't matter for them.
I think it's only for the tiebreak games as well. I don't think it includes your other, like, so it wouldn't even matter.
So it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a matter of time before Tinker feel like going in. I think they have all the tools already. But at the same time, they managed to accomplish what I was criticizing them a little bit for early on, not accomplishing enough. I think they have accomplished enough now, and with the lead they've gained in the map control they have, at this point they can just do whatever they feel like. They're actually going to go in with Sing Sing 1-on-5.
No, that might have been a little overzealous.
Oh, you got the suicide off, though.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, he forced the RP, though. That might be the goal call. It might have been the idea here. Okay,
and he's already back. He had like, what, 18 Bloodstone charges or something?
He lives immediately. They know the RP is down.
Do they have a stolen RP, I guess is the question. Looks like I'm back in, so I'm going to try to open up Steam and get reconnected. But in the meantime, we'll rely on based Vlad here to save us. Give us some eyes into this game. Tinker starting to congregate towards the bottom side of the map. EGM, Pycat, together. When you see this Rubik just strutting around outside your base, like, sure he's got a Slark there, but EGM playing with confidence against his old squad, looking for some revenge. That is one storyline we didn't discuss, and is it's got to feel damn good if you're EGM. However he ended up leaving Alliance. You know, it's always nice to take a win over your former teammates.
And he's been playing a really good game, too, here.
He's been wrecking. He's stole an RP, what, 2-3 times?
Yeah, he's been getting the RPs he needs. He had a little bit of a rough start on leveling, but he's come back very nicely. And it's at this point, he almost has the same net worth as the enemy position 2 here at the Magnus. So, yeah. Tinker is still just completely controlling everything. And I don't know. I think Ape Mother effectively in the last 10 minutes has got 500 net worth. Okay, Pycat now going to go in on Misery 1-on-1.
Well, that's
1-on-4, but nobody wants to help Misery right here on your own. Just
nice ultimate there. Dodges the net as the Dark Pack was cooling down. Now it's back up. Why not? At this point, your BKBs could go down to 5 seconds, but just that first 5 seconds seems like it's usually enough to win the fights. They are starting to be... They're not even that annoyed by these Naga illusions. Like, slightly pushing back the lanes, Loda is, but doesn't seem good enough.
Yeah, well, when you have a Timbersaw with Ags, you can just deal with those illusions very easily. I think the Naga needs to have like a full item build with multiple hearts to be able to survive double Chakram, Timber Chain, and Whirling Death. So they don't really, their lineup is just tailored to deal with this Alliance lineup. It looks like they came in completely prepared, knew what they needed to do, and
that's where I go back. Alliance has shown this, not this exact draft, but very similar, like 15 times now, maybe. And even if the draft can work, you'd rather catch your opponents by surprise. Like that Bounty Hunter pick last game for EG. Sure, they can win with their more stock standard stuff, but just having that option, there's a jump in middle lane. Our Slark's going to work here, just off camera. as Pycat tried to retreat now. And I am finally back into the game, so the fight will break out in full. Misery caught out. There's an RP right as the song happens, but there's a BKB on Dream. Koikfa, rather. As he turns, tries to fight Loda. They'll finish off the Naga Siren, gets cleaned up. Pycat God. We've got some weird names here. It won't matter. It's GG. Tinker improved to 1-1, and it now puts a lot of pressure on their Cloud9 match. Should they win that game, a pretty good chance they finish at least second place.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't even feel like Alliance played that poorly this game, to be honest. Like, they got over the early game the way they needed to. They had a couple of good plays by Bulldog. I think the RPs were a little bit lackluster to me. Ape Mother, overall, he lost his lane a little more than he should, but of course, like, again, it was the whole, is this a hit or a miss kind of thing. I think overall he missed this game more than he hit. But it was also, like, you can't play a Magnus in this game. Everything, he needs to do so much for his team. You can't, like, it's one thing having to do it.
It was unfair to expect Ape Mother to carry that.
Exactly, because this was just an
bad lane, very little support, up against an EGM Rubik.
Yeah.
A no-win situation. And a Slark, a hero that can easily deal with RP. Two others that can dodge it. Tough times and for him. And guys, with that said, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we return, we'll break down your opening, or your second match and your opening gameplay in Group A. Then we take a turn into Group B and see how things develop. Stay tuned. You're watching Starladder Season 10. We'll be back.
Захват ПКБ, кулдаун по 4. Какая просто невероятная дамага!